So we received a $50,000 grant. $40,000 of it is grant, and then a $10,000 match of the town. So I'm asking for approval of the $10,000 match.
Wait, what are our 3-acre impervious wastewater areas? Really? Okay, that's fine.
It's the new stormwater regulations for properties that are 3 acres or more of impervious that were not permitted to current to 2002 standards. They are now required to be brought up to current standards, which is 2017.
We always mention Shaw's, but are there like a handful
So
of these?
the big ones that we are involved in is Adams Acres, which is Boardman Street, Wilson Road, the other street I can never remember it all.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. So that one has a number of parties that share the permit, but we own the roadway, so therefore we own 12 or 15% of the impervious. So that's one. Mary Hogan School is one that has 8 acres of impervious, and so the school owns about 4 acres of it, but we own 4 acres with the rec center.
Is the county a party to that, or the sheriff party?
Theirs is separate. I don't believe. Yeah, theirs is separate. Shaw's Supermarket, we're a co-permittee on that one, but that's just under 3 acres. Okay. It's like 2.13. So that doesn't fall into this category. Essentially, so this new permit came out in 2020. People with expired permits or non-existent stormwater treatment systems they wanted you to apply for a notice of intent, which gives you 18 months to engineer a system. And then once the state approves those engineering plans, they give you a valid permit for 5 years. And during that time, you're expected to construct the system. So it's like a 6.5-year window, start to finish, to get something in the ground.
Cool.
So it says here in our packet, we need to authorize the signing of the agreement.
There's a application award letter, and then the project commitment form, I think, was attached to the packet.
Okay.
So we need that signed to return it. And it might be signed, I think it can be signed by Kathleen as long as it's.
So can I just authorize Kathleen to sign?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do I need to do 2 separate motions, one for the signing of the document and one for the commitment of the match? Or do you
That it's all in the
all the
same.
same.
All the
Yep.
same. Got it. I'll move to authorize Town Manager Kathleen Ramsey to sign the Vermont Agency of Transportation project commitment form for grant funding awarded to the town of Middlebury for the stormwater feasibility study.
Second.
Ooh, very nice. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. All in.
All in. Moving on to,
Other updates.
yeah, okay. So Halliday Road Pump Station, I think the last time we talked, we were trying to figure out where to locate the generator with the housing because of easement and wetland constraints. So we are moving forward with bringing it onto the town-owned parcel. It will work constructability. It meets engineering codes. Because it's an accessory building to the pump station, it meets our zoning standards. So that's the direction we're taking there.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but I think it's a good solution to get that project moving forward. So as long as wastewater staff is on board, and they said they're willing to do a little extra shoveling to get that pump station online. So we're looking at, I believe Champlain is still proposing to do some initial work in May, but the majority of the work will start late June, early July, with a completion of October, mid-October. Hopefully during the drier part of the season. Police station renovations are mostly complete. Newton Electric completed their portion of the capital work. They were in charge of installing all the HVAC units and air exchangers in the storage building, which is the fitness center. And then Northern Basement came in and installed a sump pump in the basement. And the last component, the last piece is to get the steel doors installed, one to block off the vehicle bay, and then one at the top of the basement stairs. And those have been ordered, and I think it was about a 3-week lead time to receive them. So hopefully early May, that whole project will be put to rest. It's already just being in there. It makes such a big difference, and you can feel the improvement in the air quality. So they seem pretty happy with it. Gorham Lane Engineering, Otter Creek started this week surveying Gorham Lane. Part of the communication is to look into potential improvements that we can make for stormwater in that neighborhood. And just even since this project has started going, we've received a few emails from residents with concerns about the increased runoff that potentially caused by Habitat for Humanity construction and the proposed Middlebury College dorm project, and I did meet with Luther recently, and he showed me what they're proposing for stormwater, and everything on that proposed site will be captured in a closed system. So I don't think Gorham Lane will see an increase from that. I don't know. I haven't seen the plans for Habitat for Humanity, but
Are they building on Gorham?
yeah,
Okay.
4 units.
I think so.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
4.
And then UVM Capstone Projects, I've been working with a few different college groups. The two groups are from the engineering program, and one of them is actually working on the 3-acre permit for Adams Acres, the Boardman Street. And then the other one's working on Springside Road, making stormwater improvements for that. And so they are presenting on April 28th, and they're welcoming the public to that event. I think it's from 8:30 or from 5:30 until 8, and it's more of a poster presentation. And then the other group that I'm working with has been looking at the Mary Hogan site and also at the condo units just downstream of there, Overlook. Oh, I forget the name. Anyway, I'm working with the Mary Hogan group, and so they are looking at the rec center and trying to incorporate stormwater components into that. And they are presenting, the Mary Hogan group's presenting on May 3rd. The other group's presenting on May 1st. What's that?
Would these students be interested in coming to select board, or should we try to get ourselves to UVM?
So there is a May 2nd presentation in town that Riverwatch Collaborative is putting together.
Great.
And I don't have all of the information handy. Did you get that email? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. So they have invited the groups that are presenting in May are, I think, putting a poster up and presenting at that also.
I am tentatively planning to go up on the 28th.
Yeah.
And I think Fred is actually interested in carpooling. If there's anyone else, we could.
Road trip.
Yeah, so, and that's coming right up, so.
Yes, it
That is during school break, and
It's a Friday
I
night.
do have, it's a Friday, I do have that already scheduled as a day off for myself, so that's probably.
That's
Anyway.
cool.
And then Boardman Street this week, VHB has been working with VTrans on Boardman Street Route 7 intersection improvements. And so they're at a phase, they haven't created a scoping study yet. And so they came to the infrastructure committee meeting on Thursday to sort of discuss if we were interested in bringing the project to the next level. And essentially I think we asked for a little more time. The infrastructure committee asked for more time in determining what the actual needs were of the project. I think there was some verbiage in the need statement that not everybody was on board with. But essentially, it will develop a scoping study for that intersection. Either, I mean, and it could incorporate a lot of things. Sort of what she presented at the meeting was if we're concerned with safety, if we're concerned with pedestrian access, if we're concerned with traffic speed, turning ability, things of that. So just sort of make a very broad statement, and then they'll take it to the next level for a scoping study.
Boardman's at 40 miles an hour, right? That's kind of just before it goes to 50.
Yeah, I think it changes to 40, like right in halfway down that hill.
It's
like, not
it's right in the transition zone, and it's where like anyone headed south, turning into Boardman, people are passing on the right.
Oh, yeah.
On the shoulder, and so I think there's a lot of room for improvement, and especially having seen the bike ped plan for creating an access through there, or the potential for neighborhood development up on the hill there. So I think it could bring all of that into the equation to look at how to really improve it. And so the overall scope, these VTrans projects don't typically move very quickly because they do have to go through a number of steps. And so this project doesn't bump any of the other projects, such as the Exchange Street roundabout or Charles Monroe. Those are already further developed than what this is. So it doesn't necessarily conflict or compete with those other projects that they're working on.
just starts getting that project in process.
Brett, could you come to the
I
mic?
attended the infrastructure meeting.
Brett, can you use the mic, please?
Posted
Just slightly updated to reflect the changes in our circumstances and burn rates and things like that. So the funding is budgeted for in fiscal year 24.
Sounds good.
I'll move to approve the contract with CPG Enterprises to conduct a fundraising feasibility study for the Isley Library's upcoming capital campaign for up to $30,700.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All in. Thanks, Dana.
Okay, thanks everyone. Have a great night.
You too.
You too.
Oh, all right. Time for the skate park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super
It's
fun.
right at 8:15. Not so bad.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. So I'm Phyllis Stinson, and I actually was in touch with Kathleen, but Jill is going to give our comments. So we're both here. We have other supporters here, so we're happy to talk with you.
Yes. I'm Jill Quackenbush. I'm the secretary of the board of the Middlebury Skate Park Project. And I have my notes, and I promise they're shorter than the Parks and Rec version. But I felt like that was a little long. So, so about a year ago, the skate park project held its first community meeting. Over 50 people from the community gathered to voice support for the construction of the concrete skate park in Middlebury. So since then, we've been holding monthly community meetings, spreading awareness, forming partnerships with local businesses and organizations, and fundraising. We held a fundraising event at NADA in November. Is that how you say it?
No day.
Note. See,
That's
I'm
how I
new to
say
town.
it. I'm new too, but that's
I'm
how I
like,
say
it's the
it.
pizza place under two brothers. And it was well attended, brought in over $6,000. So since that event, we've incorporated the state of Vermont. We formed a board of directors and received our 501c3 status. We've been working closely with Dustin, with Parks and Rec, and Bill, Public Works, to learn about the process for creating a new rec facility. Keep them up to date on what we've been doing, and discuss the next steps as we keep moving ahead. We've done some research on our permits that we might need, and I managed to have the wetlands surveyed in Rec Park near the swimming pool and she flagged the border of the wetlands, so there needs to be a 50-foot buffer, and as long as we're outside that 50-foot buffer, we don't need a wetlands permit. So if you're interested, you can go out there and scope out the pink flags. That's the wetland. And we have also, we met with the UVM landscape design class that was just mentioned, that are working on the stormwater design for the Mary Hogan site, the northern part of it that includes like the sports center and the courts and all of that. We're participating in the Vermont Healthy Communities Technical Assistance Pilot Program. And we're also working with Addison County Economic Development Corporation to have the skate park project added to their project prioritization list. We've been in touch with ACSD Facilities Director Bruce and plan to present to the school district board soon officially to ask for the permission to build a skate park at the proposed location in Rec Park south of the pool. And while I'm on the topic of the school district, it's my understanding, and thank you to David, he's not, for clarifying that there was not a lease executed between the town and ACSD for Rec Park. That I don't know if that
The renewal.
the renewal.
wasn't,
Yes.
There has
Yeah.
been a longstanding agreement governing the use of the rec park. It's held up in legal.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. And so I would like to request, like when that kind of gets further along, to consider special language for the pump track and the skate park to allow them to be open to the public anytime the park is open, even during school hours at Mary Hogan, because I know that there has been some discussion about rules of usage of the fields during school hours. So I just wanted to make sure that the skate park and the pump track could both be usable by the public. So that was just something I wanted to mention. If there's more discussion on that, we would love to be a part of that, the lease before it gets signed for another 25 years. So this spring will be the start of kind of a fundraising season for us. Now that we have our 501c3 status, we're creating lists of prospects to contact for major donations and seed funding, planning fundraising events, other grassroots fundraising campaigns over the summer. We're preparing as much as we can to apply for a VORAC grant. There's nothing been announced on the deadlines for that yet. And on our radar are the Building Communities Recreation Grant and Land Water Conservation Fund Grant. We've submitted a pre-flight application for Better Places. And since the pump track finished their Better Places grant process at the beginning of this year, we can't submit another project until 2024. But we're still working on that. And I feel like we're in a really good position to submit that application at the end of the year. And then there's a crowdfunding campaign that would launch in early 2024. So as far as our fundraising goals and timeline, initial goal is about $30,000 to $50,000, which would enable us to hire a special skate park design build company for the design. So that would take us from the initial concept to finished construction drawings. We're optimistic about the enthusiasm and generosity of our community, and we hope we'll be able to start that design process this summer. And have designs in hand before the winter. Having those designs completed will help us to fundraise and win grants for the construction. We estimate construction costs to be $330,000 to $525,000. So that's in addition to the design. And it depends on the cost of materials and what the design actually ends up being. So if all goes well with VORAC, Better Places, grants, donations, we would love to schedule construction as soon as next summer. But we are also committed and prepared to commit the time and energy to raise funds and keep the foot on the gas for this project for however long it takes. So we have two requests at this point from the select board. First is that we would just love to hear your feedback, questions, concerns, hesitations. And if we don't have time for questions or discussion today, we would love to come back or answer via email. Second, we're asking for a letter of support from the select board, which will be essential to the project as we reach out to prospective donors, apply for grants at this early stage. The support of the select board gives the skate park project credibility, gives donors and grant makers the confidence that their money is going to a project supported by the town. So we appreciate the consideration of the request, and we look forward to further solidifying the partnership between our nonprofit and the town as we progress with the fundraising efforts. And we'll be back in a couple more months with another update and to discuss a more formal partnership, which would allow us to move forward effectively from a grassroots community effort to end up with a professionally designed and built municipal recreation facility, the Middlebury Skate Park. Thank you.
Well
That was
done.
awesome.
Oh, yeah, questions?
Yeah.
Comments?
So you have our one pager,
Yeah.
right? So that I
Yeah.
think is
And
an
the
easy way
letter.
to.
Yeah, of course.
Kathleen, do we have any special wording in the lease agreement with the school for, there's special wording for use of the fields during school time, right? What about the courts and the rest of it? Is there special wording in there? I can't remember.
We'll use
I'd have
it.
to check.
Okay, you don't remember it now.
I have the wording if you would.
I'm sorry?
I have the wording. I emailed it to someone. I could look it up. It's basically there. I couldn't find any specific wording in the lease about use of the fields and having it be off limits to the public during school hours. It only says that the town cannot schedule events during school hours. So I am not sure where that rule came from. I emailed Bruce just to see like if there's a school rule about it. But that's just something we want to make sure that it, we build it and then, oh, you can't use it during school hours. We want to try to, get ahead of that.
Can you orient me a little bit on the property? I know that the pump track is expecting to be close-ish to the pool area, I
Yes.
guess.
Yeah. Oh, you have a map?
I think they're proposing a skate park. Is that the rec field?
This is the rec field.
This is the pool, right?
Yes.
In this space right here.
So just
the
south of the
Just south.
pool
So
area.
yeah,
Okay.
there's a couple of like sheds right there.
Is that, so there is town storage and access through to there's like an access point for the town and storage sheds and stuff. Does the building of the skate park impact, have you talked to Bill
yeah.
about that?
As far as I remember, he will move the sheds and the storage somewhere else. I'm not sure exactly where, but yeah,
He's
Is that
aware.
it?
I mean,
Is
he's
that-
totally on board with that location.
Is it the site proposed for the grassy area behind the pool? Or are we going into like the gravel area there?
The grassy area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of to the west of where like the parking is there.
Yes, right directly south of the pool. So it kind of will end up being like a little complex of the pool, the skate park, and the pump track.
Okay.
And then the fields on one side and the woods on the other.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but I think currently the Community Foundation has open grants for the Walter Surf
Yes,
Fund, which includes Addison County projects. I don't know if this project qualifies, but I just know.
that one's on our list. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so,
So in here.
yeah,
Got it.
and these are.
Oh, those are the sheds.
Yeah, I was thinking of it out here.
One thing that you learn quickly is that everything's far more expensive than you ever imagine. My memory is that the pump track is in the $20,000 to $30,000 range. But this is a whole lot of
This is
cast
concrete,
concrete
yeah.
and metal rails and
Yep.
things that are not
Excavation.
just dirt berms.
Yes.
And it's we're looking at about 7,500 square feet.
Which is based on the number of users and the size.
Yeah, I think we used the population of the school district
Mhm.
to kind of figure out the size.
Excellent. Other questions?
They've been coming into the schools during a flex time that we have. So from like 1:15 to 1:45 every day, all middle schoolers are free. So a lot of small businesses and nonprofits have been coming in to teach our middle schoolers skills. And I swear I've had kids that I struggle to get to come to class every single day. I'm a PE teacher. We're doing this. But the fact that they're here roller skating, they brought in some Middlebury College kids, and the students are obsessed. They think the Middlebury College kids who are skateboarding in our gym are the coolest kids they have ever met. So I'm a big fan. We have young people who are really looking forward to this. So I just want to say thank you, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen Karashi.
Yeah.
Want to make a motion?
Yeah. I'll make the motion. Hold on. I move to approve the draft letter of support for the Middlebury Skate Park Projects fundraising efforts.
Second.
I'm sorry, I didn't wear my skate park t-shirt.
I know.
The honor of the skateboard is super cute. It's I get a lot of good comments on the t-shirt. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Good, all in? Thanks so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Next on our agenda, Chief Hanley is going to talk to us about adopting a policy on permitting exemptions to the ordinance for the regulation of noise. There's a lot of clauses in that.
There are. We came out with the noise ordinance, we changed the hours to quiet hours, which pretty much makes some of the civic events we do unlawful.
Yeah.
The fireworks, the festival on the green, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
It also prevents organizations like Middlebury New Film Festival, they're having their outdoor showings, and I can go on and on with that. Anything at the college, town hall theater. So we needed to create, and there is an exemption in the ordinance that can be permitted,
Right.
stated right in the ordinance. So we've created this policy which allows these event permits to be issued. There are two different versions of the event permits. One is the single event, somebody's going to do the fireworks, or start fireworks on New Year's Eve. They can come in and get an event permit along with a public assemblage permit. The other one is the blanket permit for organizations that are running events year-round, which says, go for it.
Yeah, huh.
Town Hall Theater, Middlebury New Filmmakers Festival, the college, there's a lot of these. They just do these events which really have a civic and social benefit to the town. And there really is no reason to exclude them other than the per se time periods in the ordinance. There's always a qualification on these, that they can't be a nuisance. So we always leave that in there. It just removes the rigid quiet hours so that they can do events.
If you're allowed to make unreasonable noise by virtue of having a permit, how do you determine if something is a nuisance?
It's evaluated on a case-by-case basis, just like the regular noise ordinance is.
But if I say, right, I'm gonna have a concert in my front yard on this day, right? And indeed I do, and it's within the times that I got approval for, and the neighbors don't like it, and you come by, how do you evaluate whether I am in violation?
Based on the complaints, just as it says. If you're getting complaints
Yeah.
from an interesting person, that is person with some proximity to the event that it is bothering.
Yeah.
Of course, any permit like that would be given those conditions at the outset when the permit is issued. As with any other permit, public assemblage or otherwise, we put conditions on the permit that you've got to comply with these conditions or it invalidates the permit. Normally in a case like that, as is written on one of these here, if we go and tell you you're too noisy, you got to shut it down, the next one is the permit is pulled and the event stops. So there's got to be some self-control on these events. But I will tell you, I don't ever remember getting a complaint on a college event or a town hall theater event or the fireworks or any of the other ones that we would expect a blanket permit on, whether it's the Foodaroo or any of these others that tend to go late at night.
One of my concerns about a blanket permit is that we say to the college, right, you guys can have events within these parameters whenever you want, essentially. And then the folks on South Street are like, what do you mean, every Friday and Saturday all summer? I kind of like having some feedback in this where we have to keep approving these things over some period of time, right? If you're going to have an annual alumni thing and it's going to be the third September and August, that's fine, right? But if you're going to say whenever you want on this piece of property, you can have events outside of our noise ordinance, I wonder if that's too broad.
Well, I understand that, and just having been around for a little bit and dealing with the college, is a very, very big calendar of events.
Yes.
And in the old days, every event that they had, every wine and cheese social, every little thing they had required a liquor license. And every week I was getting 3 or 4 liquor licenses that we had to bring to the select board to approve on a case-by-case basis liquor license.
Yeah.
We got rid of that years ago and made a blanket permit. And there has not been any problems with that at all. And the Town Hall Theater runs events all year long. And they have, if it's a problem, we can deal with the problem when it is a problem, and then we can review the permit at that point. These permits are not permanent. There's nothing permanent. It's just
Social benefit in having occasional unruly noise.
I don't know about unruly, but
Okay.
but fireworks are loud. You can hear them all over town, and
That's right.
we don't get any complaints of those 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. A concern is the college is vast. They have a huge amount of property.
They do.
Having things next to residential neighborhoods, when they have the option of having it more interior, is a choice that the college makes frequently. And I would just love to have some municipal input on these things over time.
And we do for each and every event. If it's that's after the event starts and it's out of hand. I've never had a problem with the college,
Okay.
Coming in and controlling. And there's always Amy's here.
Yeah,
She could-
but
she
my
could probably-
concerns may be totally out of line. I'm just,
I'll let Amy speak.
please come to the mic.
Hi, everyone. New in the community relations, but years in the events management office. I would say that the college is looking at this, and they've been working with Chief Hanley and Kathleen and everybody in the town. And we are in agreement with the policy that has been made. We just wanted the blanket policy permitting for the reasons of not having to bombard offices with all the requests that we're going to make. Also, we are fully in line. We've given lists of the annual events that we've created that we know are going to be happening, and we're not looking to just take this blanket permit and sprinkle in as many events as we can. We really just want to stick with what we've been doing and keeping it in line with the best policy that we can.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, from my position, I didn't see any concern with the blanket permits, especially for responsible organizations that have a proven track record of controlling events like this. I'm not talking about the social house down the corner or anything like that. That's not part of the blanket permit. This is a regulated college-created event on their event schedule.
The other thing I didn't see in here was notice to likely affected parties. Which, I mean, we did when we had a tent and a wedding in our front yard, which we actually did a few years ago, right? You go out and you tell people that this is coming up and let them know, so that it's not just folks that are paying attention to select board hearings that know what's going on.
Okay, that could simply be added to the individual event permit.
I think that'd be great.
We can add a line on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proof of notice to interested parties, and we can figure out who they are. But that's a matter of just amending the form
Okay.
to do that, and that would cover that.
Any other comments or concerns? Fred, welcome back.
Brett Dennington again. I was glad to hear the chief say this was not intended for student apartments and places that are off campus, basically. My understanding is that the college events that you're talking about are on their campus primarily and not in residential neighborhoods.
They're on their campus.
Okay. I'd worked on a draft with you, the notion of licensing events where there would be exceptions permitted in the ordinance for weddings, private family events, or non-residential district events, festivals, the college things under blanket permits, and so forth. I think the idea of revoking a permit, it's kind of the wrong tool in the toolbox, to me. I mean, a license is the proper tool. You can revoke a license for failure to meet the requirements, like a driver's license. A permit is something that typically attaches to land. Licenses attached to people and their behavior. So Chief, I took the liberty of writing something up that incorporates this, and you might want to check. It just seems weird to exempt things from regulation and then how do you enforce something that you've exempted? A license, I think, to me, seems like a better tool, but check with an attorney if you want to ever enforce something.
So Brett, I think of a license as a kind of a perpetual grant rather than a one-time event type legal instrument.
Permits are more perpetual than licenses as a general rule.
Okay.
Anyway, I just thank you. The people who are concerned in residential neighborhoods will be thankful to know that they won't be getting public assemblage permits. The other thing is that public assemblage permits strictly apply to things on public property.
Right.
You have events that are on private property, like the Marble Works or Cider Spot or things like that. And so it's awkward to do this only through the noise ordinance, only where you have other street vending or public assemblage authority, because it leaves out the events on private property. You know, the college is not public property.
Right, they wouldn't
Public
require,
assemblage.
and they wouldn't require a public assemblage permit.
So having the foundation of this being where you have authority under the public assemblage legally doesn't give you the authority over the college, does it?
No, wouldn't require a public assemblage permit. This is just deals with the ordinance with the noise and the quiet hours.
So
They
the
can-
noise ordinance says that the exemption applies to any activities permitted under public assemblages or other licenses, street vending.
This is other licenses.
Oh, what?
This would be right, the second clause there.
Right.
What
What other license authority do we have over the college?
I'm not sure that's relevant to this. This is to anybody, the food vendor that comes downtown.
Paragraph B there.
Right, I'm familiar with that.
Well, okay. It's a detail, but it's just a further the drafting working with you.
Yeah, to me, it was a matter of semantics. We used the word permit instead of license. I guess the town attorney could probably look at that and tell us which one would be the more appropriate to use.
Yeah. I think this is good. Yeah, a good enactment of the desire of the select board to allow these events, which we appreciate as part of our town's culture, to
Right.
continue in a non-violating way.
Right. And when we saw it going through the noise ordinance process, I realized those are going to stop.
Right.
And we don't want that.
Yeah, if anyone doesn't like fireworks, it's the end of fireworks. I do think there's probably some room for coordinating the language between the assemblage and the ordinance and the other exemptions in a way to create some linguistic cohesion. And I really am a fan of linguistic cohesion, but I think that this is a fine effort for now. And if someone who is also a fan and has a lot of spare time wants to bring us something that ties all of the terms of art together better, I'm sure we'll consider it. I entertain a motion.
I move to approve the proposed policy on permitting exemptions to the ordinance for the regulation of noise.
Second,
Is there further discussion or questions?
do we have to host a public hearing to adopt the policy?
Not on the policy.
Gotcha.
Well, all right, seeing no further, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And 8:35, we get to the approval for participation in the new national opioid settlement. Teva, Allergan, CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart.
Is that Teva like the sandals?
I
Hope not. It seemed very odd to me.
don't think they're involved in opioids. Directly.
So this is the third settlement coming your way. This is just a sign on to that effort, unless you want to go it on your own and take on Big Pharma for a better settlement.
I think we'll join the class action. I do not see the benefit in holding out at this point. Yeah.
I thought about it, but
So I just have to notify them of our acceptance of the settlement, and we'll find out how much we can anticipate from this.
And then we'll likely do the same thing that we have done, giving some to Turning Point and some to.
That was our initial thought,
Yeah.
but knowing that the Narcan might become available over the counter, I didn't know if there was some value in retaining for some of that for us to purchase some kits for public facilities like the recreation center.
I'm not aware of Narcan use in Middlebury, but perhaps before the chief goes, we could ask.
You can get it at Porter.
We do have it at the
Go to the
library.
So, thank you. So the 2023 Middlebury Town poll is like, it's modeled after the Doyle poll. It's largely an educational tool. It's an awareness raising tool. So it's not a scientifically constructed survey. It's not intended to be that. And in fact, the first question asks if you want to be added to our email list. And a lot of people indicated that they're already on it. Yay! So of the 288 respondents to the poll this year, which is on par to who we had respond last year, so good response, said yes, they're on it, and we added close to 40 others, which is great. The second question asks about your interest in any of our boards. So again, it's educating people about the structure of our government and helping you identify people. And you saw, like that there's a lot of interest. And interestingly, the Public Health and Safety Committee actually had the highest hit of people that were, and we don't have vacancy on that committee, but as I said earlier, it might be an indication of something that the community wants to talk about a little bit more. So we can see. You could always follow up with other devices, market research to dig into those areas. The next question asked about your awareness of what's at our website and website links. And again, it's informing people about what is available. So yeah, they know about Experience Middlebury. They know about the Ilsley Public Library website. We put a couple of others out there, just to be sure that they're aware of these other links, and they are at our website too. And we try to show people the homepage at the town meeting so they could see that our website is an important tool for navigating information that could be important to them. So we did that. So the other part is getting input. And we were asked to get some input on the public bathroom. So we asked an open-ended question about that. That was question 5, we'll call it. And you have all the raw data in your packets, and it's interesting to scan that. And it's hard to kind of synthesize it too. And I attempted to do that with that one. And we also asked about town meeting, and how people felt about town meeting. And we asked about future questions on the town poll or any other comments, which is a way of finding out a blind spot you might have, something that's on the minds of people. So I do urge you, if you haven't had a chance to scan that raw data, so that you can get a sense of things yourself, because it is kind of hard to summarize it. And I would never have enough time to do that, tonight. But you'll find some nuggets in there, even if it's only one person saying it, that will help you. So use it that way. Just going back to the public bathroom. So yeah, we definitely got good support for the Portland Loo concept. People that were qualified or said no were concerned about things that we always know that people are concerned about with regard to public bathrooms: illicit use and vandalism. So they want to be assured that you have constructed something that accounts for that. And actually the Portland Loo, if we look at the picture of it that's in your packet, and I don't know if it's worth our time to pull that up, but if you can remember that, the picture of the Portland Loo, it's vented at the top and the bottom so that you can actually see inside of it. And the advantage of the Portland Loo over a portalet is that you can bring things inside of it, like your bike, your backpack, your dog. It allows for that kind of amenity that's different than a portalet would. So I think that we got good feedback on that, and you'll find it interesting to read the other comments related to that question. Like the National Bank of Middlebury, it turns out, gets a lot of people that go in and use their bathrooms, so it tells you that we definitely need something at that side of town. And I hope that we can find it somewhere in the post office, a Middlebury Town Green area. So that's the bathroom question. People want us to keep that well-maintained, as eye-pleasing as possible, and locate it correctly. So that's what I saw kind of as my summary of the bathroom project. With regard to the town meeting, I know you've already debriefed on this. You know about audio being an issue, so I don't need to tell you that again. Regarding location, people are still pretty happy with the high school. The majority of people said, keep it at the high school, but they did qualify it by saying it does seem dark in there. They wondered about, improvement in terms of where people were positioned up front. With regard to seeing the presentation, remember to keep the font size big, which we're doing a good job, but also look at other issues like color, so there's I guess we used red, and red is hard for colorblind people. So it was interesting. So you get one or two comments like that could help you refine your presentation. That could make a big difference for next year. People would love it to be more social. Some people want it to be shorter. Some people want childcare. Some people want it to be informational only, and perhaps have people submit questions ahead of time to department heads, so that there'd be more to respond to, because people are introverts and you might get more out of your town meeting. So go ahead and, just read all that feedback to see if there's anything else that could help you refine your town meeting. Of course, people want Zoom and hybrid, because they had that experience and now they want it again, because they want the ability to be able to participate remotely, because a lot of people are restricted. They can't get to a physical location. And I know it's complicated to do that, but we did see that people really missed that, in this last one. They love that it's live streamed, but they want to be able to participate. And we know that voting at a town meeting in that format is complicated. So,
Well, also, you can't control, it's supposed to be for residents.
yeah.
And how do you sign in and make,
So it's hard to explain that to people. And so I think that the people that want Zoom may be willing to say, well, what if you vote Australian ballot on everything? So it's informational only and they get to participate that way, which would be, like a whole different discussion for us to have in terms of the future town meeting. So look at the responses, in terms of the, are there other questions that you would like to ask in future town meeting polls or comments that you wish to add? I would say that they kind of fell into a few categories. There's definitely what you would expect around fiscal responsibility. So like questions about, well, if you add something, are people willing to take something away, in order to make it manageable? Maybe we need to ask if people are okay with the property tax level, so I kind of saw a few responses related to that, and you might see that too. So take a look at those responses. And then I did see a number of responses related to improvements in the sharing of information and different on major issues at the website, particularly maybe a place where all the candidate views could be seen in one spot easily, knowing that the Addison Independent does interview people, but it's kind of over a couple of issues and it's spread out. So is there something like what the League of Women Voters used to do, like that's a one-stop shop where you could see who all the candidates are and what their views are on critical issues. So, that kind of thing. I also saw a lot of comments related to walking and biking, which actually quite a few, related to that, either questions that could be asked or asking for improvements, or the status of things like the Exchange Street multi-use path, or other spots that you've already been talking about in terms of bike ped improvements. So that's kind of a quick summary of what I saw, and I hope that we continue to use surveys. This is one kind, but that you have SurveyMonkey. Doing an online survey is easier in terms of collecting data, and that's something that we always weigh with the town poll, because we know we do both. We allow people to complete it as a hard form, and I would say maybe half did it that way, half did it online, maybe a little more online. So it's harder to gather all the data when it's written on forms, but the hard work was done by staff. The Crystal and Beth did a really great job of inputting all that data, and I'm very grateful, for all of that information which you can scan, and so can anybody that's watching tonight. It's in the packet, so anybody that's interested in the town poll results can look at the raw data. That's now available.
I have questions, but not tonight,
Mhm.
about the,
And Dan, is Dan on mute?
Dan's still there.
Okay.
I'm here.
Yep.
I'm stay awake.
Well done. These look like the appointments that we discussed.
Mhm.
Is there any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
I always thought that the college relations was the chair and vice chair.
That's correct.
That's correct.
So maybe
Okay,
that should be updated.
Yes. So these were members, select board members currently serving on
Oh, yes.
subcommittees.
So that should definitely be changed.
So,
All right.
so, which ones, so.
hold on. I'm going to get up on, hopefully.
Top three then is what we need to make appointments for?
Hold on.
And maybe we change the color.
So we have the Personnel Committee.
Yeah.
This year's Personnel Committee was Heather, Dan, and Brian.
And that doesn't meet regularly,
That
correct?
meets
Just as
once or twice a year,
things come
perhaps.
up.
That's to review you as our,
The board reviews me.
Yeah.
This is more for any new positions.
Okay.
And one thing coming right up is the interview of the town clerk
Mhm.
candidates.
okay. Dan and Brian have it. Amazing.
So Andy, are you good staying on public health and safety and infrastructure?
Yeah, because public health, do they meet every month or?
No. They meet as needed.
Right,
I think
that's
we
what I
met
thought.
twice last year. I love that. Love that committee.
yeah, the chief's not real bit in favor of meetings, so.
He makes them short and sweet too. Absolutely.
So our DEI group, Lindsay, Farhad, and Esther, and Isabel. Is it?
Yeah.
Good. So
We have to-
Andy and Dan still on public health and safety?
Heck yeah, we are.
Of course.
Parks and Rec, Isabel.
Yeah.
BMP, Farhad has been loving that.
It
Or
makes
he
sense,
does.
Yeah.
makes sense for him to do that.
And Dan, are you good for DIDC?
Yeah, just schedule the meetings when I can be there sometime.
Okay, so
Stop traveling the globe.
It's just ironic, I just could not make that meeting and it was rescheduled like 3 times.
Yeah, it still hasn't happened, Dan. So. The IPL 100 project team, Dan and Farhad, continuing their good work there. MCTV, I think Farhad is their president, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, good work. Looks like we filled them up.
Lovely. Do we
Thank
need
you.
to appoint ourselves?
We need to appoint Izzy
Yes.
to
We do?
I'll move to appoint
all the people.
Izzy to the DEI,
No.
DEI committee, right?
Oh, yeah.
Andy Hooper to the infrastructure committee with myself,
And town college relation.
and town college relations, thank you. Linda.
Oh, God.
And Izzy to parks and recreation committee. Is that all the changes we're making? Right? For a 1-year term beginning 4/11/2023, ending 4/10/2024.
All other appointments remaining.
The same.
The same. Second.
Sounds great. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
I have check marks.
Yeah.
I reviewed the.
Yes, I think,
What?
He said thank you for doing those.
for doing that check warrant.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. No problem. I've reviewed the check warrants and found them in good order. I move to approve total expenditures in the amount of $524,619.89, consisting of $417,684.50.
You
For
are
accounts
awesome.
payable and $106,935.30 for payroll for the period of March 29th, 2023 through April 11th, 2023.
Second.
Lovely. All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. We are moving on now to our executive session. We've got a long executive session.
Do you have your select board member concerns?
Yeah, I know. We're going to. select board.
Okay, we're going to executive.
Can I just mention a couple of things on concerns real quickly?
Yes, of course. No,
Oh, wait, we'll do that.
no.
Oh, no, we'll do it now. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
We're going to
What were you going to? I thought you were skipping over it.
No, we're going to do it now.
Oh,
We're gonna
We're
do
going
it?
to discuss, yeah.
we do have an executive session though.
Yes, I know.
We do?
I
Okay.
thought I was joking, and then it turned out I wasn't.
I don't have the motion.
Here's the motion.
I was hoping the packet was lying.
I know.
Thank you.
Concerns.
Just, I guess, acknowledging the recent tragedy in our community, and acknowledging all of the amazing people who took time out to try to make things better. And, you know, it's a sad time. So yeah, that's it.
Absolutely.
I was going to say something similar. Thank you to anyone who supported our students through this time. I think it was really important for me to see that a lot of resources were being sent to our students and sent to our community members, and an outpour from surrounding communities as well, not just other people, not just businesses, but other communities. And that was really great. And I also want to give a shout out to any of the nonprofits and all of the small businesses that have come into the middle school to help introduce their business or their spark to a younger generation. It's been really awesome to build that community within a small scale.
Quick congratulations to Emily Jones, Middlebury College senior, for breaking the world record of a mile run in full firefighter gear on Saturday, which Izzy and I witnessed as official Guinness Book of World Records.
It was
witnesses.
awesome.
It was awesome. It was incredible. She's amazing. She's a member of the Middlebury Fire Department, which just again speaks so highly of the quality people we have supporting our community. So congratulations and a big thank you to Emily and the fire department. Just a quick note, I will not be attending the May 9th meeting. That is my son's 17th birthday, so I will not be here. And Dan and I are working, I'm switching for him and hopefully he's switching for me, and we'll work that out. And then Emily mentioned quickly tonight the Barnesbrook Watershed Forum that Riverwatch and CVUUS is hosting. That is May 2nd at CVUUS from 7 to 9, if people are interested in attending.
May 2nd, 7 to 9?
Yes.
That's a Tuesday.
And then I think I need to update the email that might be on the town email list. Probably, I need to figure out how to do that, because this probably was my old email. I don't think I get those anymore.
Okay.
Anyway. That's it, I'm done.
Excellent. Dan, what you got for
Of course I
us?
have all these things on my phone.
I've got nothing to add to those great comments already made. Thank you.
Wow, excellent. Yeah, I also am devoid of additional comment. Let's executive our sessions.
I note that Andrew LaRoe, who has been working with us on the executive session item, is in the audience, and
We should
perhaps
invite him in and perhaps bid farewell to our other attendee, whoever it is.
after you do the executive session.
In accordance with Vermont's open meeting law requirements, I move that the board find that premature general knowledge of the consideration of real estate would clearly place the select board at a substantial disadvantage because the select board risks disclosing its litigation strategy. Sorry, I'm supposed to read what's underlined. Disclosing its negotiation strategy for real estate if it discusses the real estate in public.
Wow, very good.